So there are limits, there are limits to laughing in the face of terror. But I was just starting to read a new book, and starting to read a book that I had not started too much yet, kind of started looking at it a little bit, and I was reading it, and sometimes I'll be reading and my mind will be a little bit somewhere else, and things come to mind sometimes, but I don't know what got me thinking. I mean, again, sort of my mind maybe on two different tracks, but I was thinking about a nightmare. I don't know what got me thinking about it, but thinking about a nightmare that I had this morning, and well, I do. Maybe what I was reading is relevant because I'm reading what I started reading is a book about padrones, and so so what I started reading was this, and yeah, I can really only kind of read a little bit at a time because it's pretty dense, but so it's possible that this had something to do with it, um, but what was coming to mind was about a nightmare that I had that has a little bit more to do with this part of the country, not as much. Well, this is Utah and Canada, where people. Well, I think that's mostly the places that are in this book. But anyhow, so it must be sort of Western Canada. But anyhow, so laughing in the face of terror. When people are being terrorized, when people are being harmed, there is nothing funny about it. Needless to say, I think when we laugh sometimes out of overwhelm and things like that, it's important, to not give ourselves too hard of a time. Some of us live in the trenches, and we laugh a lot, and I don't think that we laugh at suffering, but we might laugh sometimes, if something happens that needs to happen, and also at our own vulnerability and at our own life experiences. And I just think there are things that I have experienced in my life that I, growing up, certainly would not have expected to experience, and you know, is that a gift? I mean, it's certainly given me a wealth of life experience. How about that? But also plenty of material for nightmares. So, yeah, thinking about the dream, and I had a nightmare, try to describe it. It's kind of hard to describe a little bit, And then I was thinking, well, that sort of title of that person or that position, is that correct or is it something else? And that might be kind of what got me laughing. Well, it might have got me laughing. Garth, let me have your toy. All right, let me have it for just a minute. I mean, maybe this is what got it. No, this is the wrong one. All right, well, this is not what Garth brought me. I don't know where she is. I don't know where she is. Well, yeah, anyway, so laughing in the face of terror. Well, again, laughing, that can be a really healthy thing to do. I think many of us try not to laugh at other people. It's just because it's a cruel thing to do. Unless people are doing harm, and then sometimes, I think maybe it's kind of a reflex. But anyway, yeah. So just some words for tonight. I don't know how everyone's doing out there. Really, I mean, I don't know. Am I too sensitive? Is that possible? Do I care too much? Is that possible? There's just stuff going on that we have to put an end to, and I know we can do it. And how? Well, that's a good question. That's a good question. It's been done before. People have died, people have been killed, people have gone to prison, and we need to prevent that. Well, people are being killed, people are being harmed very badly, but we have to think of ways to do things to prevent being killed, to not go to prison, and to help prevent people being killed and going to prison. So yeah, yeah, Anyway, just some thoughts for this Friday night, and if you find yourself laughing, maybe even waking yourself up in the middle of the night laughing in a dream, well, let yourself feel good about it.